everyone, welcome to Headlines of the Day. This is 2nd of March 2022 and we are back again with some of the major articles from the Hindu newspaper. Let's begin our today's edition with the very first article on page number 1, GS3 economy section. So this article talks about GST revenues crossing 1.3 lakh crore by February this year. So from this article, the major highlights are the main features of GST. You have to know about the main features of GST, its legislative basis, advantages and challenges associated with it, and what needs to be done to tackle them. Moving further, let's directly move on to the editorial section. On page number 8, GS2, you'll find an article from International Relations section that talks about the Ukraine war, India and a stand of non-alignment. So it basically talks about the non-alignment policy of India. From this article, some of the major highlights to consider are: you have to know about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Does the concern about Russian security perception justifies the invasion? The stand of India and how it is extremely difficult for India to maintain the non-aligned position for long in this particular instance, and what steps need to be taken in this context. Moving on, again from editorial section on page number 8 itself, you'll find an article from GS3 environment section that talks about, article is headlined as a cautionary tale. This article revolves around a recent report of the IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. So from this article, which are the key highlights you have to consider? Why has the second part of IPCC's 6th assessment report warned of multiple climate changes, even if the steps are taken to reduce greenhouse gas emissions? With that, you have to briefly overlook what is new in the report and what is the significance of the IPCC reports. Moving further, on page number 9, you'll find an article from GS1, women-related issues. So this article is headlined as A History of Clothing and Why It Matters. So some of the key highlights from this article: what is the significance of knowing histories of clothing and why debates arise in past and how were they resolved? Moving on page number 10, you'll find an article from GS3 Defense, doubts over defense supplies to India. This is amidst the Russia-Ukraine crisis. What are the key highlights from this article? How strong are Indian and Russian defense ties? What are the kinds of weapons Russia has given to India? And why does Russia's invasion of Ukraine have long-term implications for India? Moving further, on page number 14, GS3 economy section, you'll find two articles. One is chip shortage crimps auto wholesales. So from this article, some of the key highlights are the causes of global semiconductor shortage, how it started and how it could last, its implications on India and what lies ahead. So this article generally revolves around the semiconductor shortage. The second article on page number 14 itself from GS3 economy section, investments via participatory note dropped to rupees 87,989 crores. So from this article, you have to take a general view of what are the participatory notes or the P notes. Let's move on. On page number 14, you'll find an article from GS2 International Relations that talks about Bormespar shift of ID jobs from Russia, Ukraine to India. So about 70% of 80,000 to 1 lakh jobs may come directly to India. This is after the Ukraine-Russia crisis. From this article, the key highlights to consider are: how can Russia-Ukraine conflict disrupt the services of around 1 lakh qualified professionals from Ukraine, Belarus, Russia and other neighboring countries to India and the East? What are the economic impacts of sanctions imposed on Russia and how is it going to affect India's interest? So this is a wrap of today's edition of Headlines of the Day. I hope you liked the video. For regular updates, follow us on our social media handles, and for more such videos, do stay tuned to the Next IAS YouTube channel.